It's already that time of day again here, folks. Welcome back. JJ here once again, schooloftrade.com. It is great to be back here with you guys and gals. Another psychology video today. Today's trading psychology question of the day. I love this question. And she says, how do I avoid analysis paralysis? She says, I lost a lot of money at the beginning of my career with a trading robot. I know how that feels. And she says, although I feel like I have a good trading strategy, I seem to worry about every little detail, and I seem to miss the good trades and chase after those losses. And she asks, do you have any advice on how to stop worrying so much while I'm trading? Boy, great question. And as always, I appreciate you guys and gals posting those comments, right, with the ideas below these psychology videos. So thank you very much for sending me this question here this afternoon. Paralysis by analysis. Do I know the words to this song quite well? I could sing it for you, but I think I'll give you a strategy instead. I have definitely dealt with this in my personal career, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this video right now are going to deal with this at some point as well. You know, in today's psychology lesson, I'm going to address performance anxiety, also known as analysis by paralysis or paralysis analysis, right? And I'm going to give you a strategy with seven tricks to overcome it. Before I go into today's lesson, I want to remind you to make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, right? Make sure you change the settings so you get alerted every time I post a new video. And if you really want to stay in tune with what's happening here at School of Trade, there's a link in the description of the YouTube video, right? Go to the website at schooloftrade.com or the blog at Sideways Markets and join the mailing list, right? And I'll shoot you an email every time one of our nightly newsletters or psychology lessons go live. All right, guys? So let's jump right in. Performance anxiety, also known as analysis paralysis. It's definitely one of the most common problems that we face as traders. In fact, I would say it's probably, dare I say, maybe the most common, broad across all traders that I've ever worked with. Simply put, performance anxiety occurs at any time our thinking about performing gets in the way of actually performing, right? Now, in my experience, performance anxiety happens to rookie traders just as often as it happens to experienced traders, okay? So nobody's safe. Rookie traders worry about trying to do everything. I really had a problem with this when I was a new trader. Rookies, we worry about trying to do everything, right? And because of that, we do nothing correctly, right? Jack of all trades, master of none, that type of thing. Experienced traders often take some losses, right? And if they go on a losing streak, they make losing streaks worse by worrying about another loss, and in the process, right? They skip all the winners. They take all the losses, right? Cherry picking trades rarely is a very good strategy, right? And if you're an experienced trader, you've probably had that issue before as well. So nobody's safe from performance anxiety, right? You can't hide from this particular aspect of trading psychology. Even the best traders in the world deal with it. And I'm going to give you some simple strategies today, 7 different tricks, right, to overcome it. Now, first, as we've already discussed in previous lessons, our emotions are healthy. They are performance enhancing, right, emotions, right? They're performance enhancing. But what is unhealthy and unproductive to our trading is when we attach our own interpretations to those emotions, allowing the stress of trading to quickly become dangerous distress. An example of this came when I was early in my own personal trading career. I actually did quite well for the first few weeks of my trading career because I was under the assumption, like most rookies, kind of beginner's luck, I was under the assumption that trading was going to be pretty easy. I had been a successful student. I had a couple successful jobs. I was successful in pretty much everything else at that point, right? In my young life, I was still pretty young at that time. I thought trading was also going to be easy, like a lot of the people that I talked to who are brand new to the business of trading. Now, right, I also caught a bit of luck at the same time. I remember I was trading the FDAX early in my career, and it was just a strong bull trend, right? And everybody knows, if you're a brand new trader, you can easily get lucky for the first few weeks of your career if you happen to just buy the pullbacks in a strong bull trend. We've seen a lot of that lately in the equity markets. So with a little bit of confidence, right? A high level of confidence and optimism, I started my career on a hot streak, following the rules of my strategy with confidence and making money in the first 2-3 weeks, right? I thought I was destined to be a great trader at that time in my life. But that didn't last very long. After a few losses, when price action started going sideways, I began to second guess myself, right? Cherry picking trades, and then ultimately, right, kind of devolving into looking for trade setups that were not in my trading plan, making that typical rookie mistake of letting my losses run, cutting my winners too early. I don't want to talk too much about it because I know it's making your stomach hurt just talking about it, right? But that's what happens, right? You have some success, you think this is going to be easy, and all of a sudden the conditions change, right? Remember, the law of large numbers is how trading works. We can't rely on 1 week of trading, right, to really be the long-term results we're going to get. And all of a sudden I'm taking some losses, I'm cherry picking, I'm skipping the winners, taking the losses, and the same stress that I felt at the beginning of my career, the same performance enhancing stress at the beginning of my career, quickly turned into distress and quickly became anxiety. As I talked about in my last video for you guys, I was worried about everything that I was doing, and it didn't take long for my account to get smaller and smaller and smaller. Now, at that point in my career, I began to view every loss as personal, right? As the market was trying to take my money. Right? I took it personally. I soon became so overwhelmed and so concerned with avoiding losses, so worried about the results on each trade, that I never took any trades at all. And the trades that I did take wound up being losses, right? A very frustrating kind of vicious cycle, right, that I know a lot of you have probably dealt with, right, in the past as well. Now, imagine for a moment. Imagine if Tom Brady, I grew up in New England, right? He is the golden boy, the GOAT, right? Imagine if Tom Brady worried about every pass that he threw to a receiver. Imagine if LeBron James, right, the king, right? Imagine if he worried about every shot that he took. Imagine if an actor or an actress worried about what the audience was thinking, right, when she was singing, right? Imagine if Celine Dion in Vegas, imagine she was worried about what we thought in the audience, right, when she was singing, right? All of these performers, right, that's what they all have in common. They're all performers, right? Imagine if all of these performers, they're just like traders. They can't worry about the results. They have to focus on executing their skills correctly, right? They practice for it, execute it correctly. Because if they don't, they won't execute it correctly, and then they will really have something to worry about because the results will stink. Now, guys, if you learn one thing from this psychology video today, I want you to learn this one sentence, and that is, if you focus on the process, you will get good results. But if you focus on the results, you get bad execution, which leads to poor results. One more time. If you focus on the process, you will get good results. But if you focus on the results, you get bad execution, and that bad execution is what gives you those poor results. This is what new traders need to do. Use a proven trading strategy that covers all the bases. It uses correct position sizing, correct risk management. It has very simple black and white entry and exit rules so that all the trader needs to do is focus on the execution of the strategy. Then worry about the results at the end of the week, not the end of the day, right? We talked about that, how to remove that fear of losses. Don't worry about day-to-day results. Worry about week-to-week results. Or as I mentioned in a previous video, right, I've got clients that really go one step further. They actually worry about the month-to-month results. So then it takes all the pressure off day to day, right? Then they can worry about week to week, month to month, rather than getting wrapped up on every single trade, okay? So maybe I mean 8 tips for today, right? We'll add that one in there as well. So remember that lesson I did a few weeks ago on the best daily goal for a trader, right? The best daily goal is something that I can control, not something that's outside of my control. Trading is a performance skill. And in order to be a great performer, you need to focus on the process of performing at the highest level possible, rather than the profit or losses that come as a result. In other words, we can't let performance anxiety control our trading, right? If we focus on the process, right, we'll get the profit. But if we focus on the profit, right, we're going to get losses. This is why we always say in trading, cut your losses quickly, right? And let your winners run. We have to be confident that there will be winning trades, there'll be losing trades. But in order to have that level of confidence, we need to use a trading strategy that prevents one or two losses from hurting us and make sure the winners we take will more than make up for those small losses. Cut your losses quickly, let your winners run, right? It all goes hand in hand with a successful trading career. The most effective way to remove performance anxiety is to remove the threat of loss. The most effective way to remove performance anxiety is to remove our perceived threat of a loss. Losses are going to happen. But when the losses are small and the winners are large, subconsciously our minds can easily move through those losses knowing that the winners are right around the corner. If you're cutting losses quickly and letting your winners do the work for you, you will not have any trouble with waiting patiently for the best trades and sticking with your plan when times get tough. But if you're trading a strategy that is not proven or uses large amounts of risk, or you simply haven't invested the time to learn the strategy, right, because you've placed unrealistic expectations on your performance, then I won't be surprised if you're suffering from performance anxiety. Because deep down inside, let's face it, you don't trust yourself and you don't trust the strategy you're trading because you haven't invested enough time in it yet. Simple as that. So how do we avoid this performance anxiety? Now that we know what it is and we know some of the common problems, right, how do we avoid it? How do we snuff out this type of anxiety, right? How do we get over this hump? Well, personally, I think one of the most effective things I've done to avoid this type of anxiety is to always pay close attention to my losing streaks. Look back at your journal, right? Remember that journal we talked about in previous lessons? I'm giving you a lot of different ways to use that journal. Find your worst losing streak. You know those days when you can't even buy a winning trade. Everything's going against you. And tell yourself, look, if I can survive that, I can survive anything. I would also recommend using that losing streak as an opportunity to make some small changes in your trading plan, right, to make sure you lessen the impact of a similar losing streak in the future. Think about it this way. The next time I take a trade, how can I cut my losses faster, learn a little bit from that loss so I can make more profit from the winners by default in the future, right? If I can cut my losses faster, then my winners by default now in comparison are much larger. And then most importantly, how can I learn from that experience and make sure I keep improving, right? Document my work, make adjustments, learn, keep improving, right? We've talked about this cycle, turning threats into opportunities. When I think about cutting losses quickly, it might mean you use a smaller stop loss on each individual trade. Or maybe it means you only allow for 2 losses a day. Or if you're like me, my own personal strategy, anytime I take back-to-back losses, right, 2 losses, back-to-back losses, I take a timeout, 20-minute timeout. I take a walk to the mailbox and back, right, so I don't allow that momentum to carry forward. I do what I call a pattern interrupt, right? We've talked about that to avoid an emotional meltdown, right, in previous lessons, right? Back-to-back losses, 20-minute timeout, right? Then I get back to trading. When I get back to trading, if I take another loss again that day, I'm done for the day, right? So 3 losses in one day, right, are okay. But if I go back-to-back losses, 2, timeout, 20 minutes, and then 1 more loss, and I'm done for the day. That will cut, right, that daily loss. That way, when I have big winning days, I can hold on to all that profit when I go through some losses, right, in the future. Okay, remember, right, cutting losses quickly. I think specifically about those trading days where nothing seems to work, right? Those days where the price action stings, so you're not feeling 100%, or you're distracted, something's off. Think of ways you can identify those days and cut them before they happen. You're going to feel it. Some days I get to my desk and I can just tell something's off. I didn't sleep well the night before, or when I come in the first half an hour, the markets are acting weird. You've got to have the confidence and the experience to know that when these situations come up, you've got to either trade much smaller, right, or simply walk away for that day, right? Don't force it, because you want to make sure you're able to participate in the good days when you're at your best. So cut those bad, challenging days before they even take your money. Remember, confidence is built not by removing losses, but knowing that a loss can't stop you from reaching your trading goals, right? All you need is a trading strategy with all the correct components I described earlier, right? All the right mindset to make it happen. All right. I've been rambling on here this afternoon. Here are some tricks. Here are 7 tricks. Well, I've added a few more at the beginning of this video as well. But here's some tricks that I've used to deal with performance anxiety. First, and really most important, is use visualization. Visualization will help you see yourself executing the right trade at the right time with the right criteria that will most often produce the results that you want. Just like Tom Brady can visualize throwing a perfect pass for a touchdown in the end zone, traders do the same thing as well. Think of this as almost self-hypnosis, taking your mind off the execution of the strategy and allowing your practice skills do the work for you. Number 2, listen to your body. And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, right? When you feel your stomach start to churn, when your palms get all clammy, right? Your heart rate begins to increase. Maybe you just don't feel healthy that day, right? If you know you're suffering from this type of anxiety, then take a step back. Relax your mind, focus on breathing, read your rules, visualize the trade, and allow that feeling to pass. You know, we can actually control that aspect, right? Our body will kind of kick into that, right? Your stomach starts churning, your palms sweat, right? You get that tunnel vision. You know what I mean, right? That feeling of you're stressed. You're allowing the fear of a loss start to manifest in your body. When that happens, step back, deep breaths, read your rules again, visualize the trade, and then come back in. You know, you're kind of giving yourself a little mental pep talk or calming your body down, because what's amazing is that what starts in your brain ends up in your body, and then what happens in your body goes right back to your brain again, right? So if it starts in our brain and we can't catch it there, once we feel it in our body, that's when we're going to step back, slow this train down, right? And then come back in and get back to trading again, right? So listen to your body. Third, focus on the present. Focus on the now. Avoid the common mistake of thinking about prior losses or worrying about the result of the next trade. Focus your energy on executing the trade correctly. Number 4, reduce your position size when you have a losing streak. This is something that's worked well for me over the years, right? So when you find yourself on a losing streak, you know, a couple days of losing money, right? Drop your position size. There's no harm in that. Please don't let your ego get in the way of this, right? Then, once the tide turns, once you feel better about your trading, once the market's better performing for you, because that's a lot of times what it is. It's not you or me, right? It's just sometimes the markets just don't want to move very well for a few days. When that happens, cut the position size down. Once you start seeing that tide turn in your favor, then ramp it back up again, right? No harm done there. The markets go through cycles, and it helps to remove as much risk when the cycle turns against you, which will allow you to minimize the drawdowns during those times. Number 5, use market replay to kind of automate your skill sets. You know, just like Tom Brady does rep after rep after rep, right? Or LeBron James shooting jump shots, right? Day after day after day, right? They're trying to automate those skills. They're trying to link their brain, right, with their muscles. They're trying to get that muscle memory, just like brushing your teeth or tying your shoe. Right? Our brain just recalls the action and just does it automatically, right? An effective way to kind of curb performance anxiety is to make sure that you can execute your trades with your eyes closed. Make sure you know the patterns like the back of your hand, right? This takes some time, obviously. You got to invest some time in this, but you remove a lot of fear if you feel like you've seen this situation a million times before. And it's an easy way is to practice pattern recognition, right, in the automation of your trading skills if you use a replay. You know, I use NinjaTrader software every day in my trade room, right? They get a great free, NinjaTrader has a great free market replay tool. Most charting softwares these days allow you to replay the data, so use it, right? And focus on your jump shot, right? Focus on the process, the execution. Then when you see it in a live market environment, you're going to feel like I've been here before, many times before, and you'll have no problem, right, doing it in real time. Number 6, almost this list, reframe the situation. If you're suffering from performance anxiety, remind yourself that all you need is 75% winners, and you're in the top percentile of the best traders in the world. If you can do 75 out of 100, not 100 out of 100, right? And really, I mean, you could be above 70%, and you're still in the upper echelon of the entire world population of traders. So, or what I always do in my trade room, use the old baseball analogy that says you only need to bat 300. You only need to hit 30, right, out of 100 baseballs that come down the plate, right, to make it to the Hall of Fame. All you gotta do is bat 300. You can get paid millions of dollars as a professional baseball player. Similar, right? Similar comparisons in the business of day trading. Remind yourself that as long as you're trading a professional strategy, you don't need to be perfect. So stop worrying about being perfect. We don't expect you to as traders. Number 7 here. Really getting my skills going here this afternoon. Number 7, last tip. Don't risk money you're afraid to lose. Now, I know you probably read this many times in, Day Trading for Dummies, and everyone's talked about this, but I think we've all heard before, but it's true. You're going to have a horrible performance anxiety experience if you're trading with money, right, that will put you in a financial bind if you take some losses. So make sure you separate your trading capital with your personal capital or risk capital, right, and always plan for a rainy day. I have a similar conversation like this with all of my new clients when they ask me about quitting their day job. And I tell them, if that job, right, if that day job allows you to put food on the table, and more importantly, it allows you to trade without the fear of losses to your account. And if your schedule, right, your work schedule allows you to trade for at least a few hours a day, then keep the job until your trading income can more than provide for your family. Because if you make the job, right, if you leave the job too quickly, you're going to put yourself in a position where this type of anxiety will immediately affect your decision making, and it'll be even harder to succeed. Boy, look at that time. It's already 22 minutes here into this video. We've covered a lot in this psychology lesson. Let's do a recap, shall we? Performance anxiety occurs anytime our thinking about performance gets in the way of our actual performance. As I said earlier, if you focus on the process with a professional trading strategy, you're going to get good results. But if you focus on the results, you're going to get bad execution, right, which leads to poor results. Right? Most traders suffer from this performance anxiety because they're afraid of losses, which is usually a byproduct of either trading a strategy that doesn't manage risk properly, losses are too big, or a lack of experience trading that strategy, right? You just simply haven't taken enough trades on it and you don't trust it yet. The most effective way to deal with performance anxiety is to look closely at your losing streaks and find ways to cut those losses faster so they don't hurt you as much in the future. And use your trading journal to remind yourself that although losses are part of trading, they won't kill you, right, if you use a professional trading strategy, right? I talked about using visualization. I talked about listening to your body. I talked about focus on the present, right? Reduce your position size during losing streaks, right? Use market replay, right, to automate the jump shot. Right? Market replay, always a great tool. You'll find that on NinjaTrader. Reframe the situation. Okay? Think about the old baseball analogy and don't risk money, right? You can't afford to lose. Wrapping things up, I've taken way too much time of your valuable time today. I hope you found a ton of value in today's psychology lesson, and I would love to hear from you about additional topics that you're struggling with as traders. Do me a favor, drop me a comment below the video on the YouTube channel or on our blog with any ideas of new videos you want me to cover next time, right? If you found value in this video, give me a thumbs up on YouTube, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and don't forget to share this video link with a trading friend as well. Guys, it doesn't matter what markets we trade or the strategies we use, even the most experienced traders, right, struggle with their emotions. And don't forget, find me every morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time in my trade room with all of our members here at School of Trade. Go to schooloftrade.com and get a great free trial. You guys can learn more about what we're all about there. Watch my nightly newsletter every evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And don't forget to check me out on the next psychology video in just a few days from now. My name is Joseph. Be well out there. Be nice to each other, will ya? And be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.